Brief, so I'm really quite short, you can imagine. Mr. Speaker, sugarcane is not just a product. Sugarcane is just not for the table. Sugarcane is a political product. Always been, all over the world. In fact, there are only two barons in the world. They are either sugar barons, who are the most powerful, or drug barons. So sugar is not just sugar. And that's why I want to thank the Honorable Wangwe for taking his time to work on a bill, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, I have an issue with the bill, not in terms of clauses, but in totality. That we have regulated sugar for too long, too much, giving so many people who don't even produce sugar so much say about sugar production. And even in this bill, Mr. Speaker, you don't see the voice of farmers. You don't see the voice of people who depend on sugar, because we've made sugar management an elite exercise. So, Speaker, if we are to deal with sugar correctly, and at the right time I'm going to bring amendments, is that we must allow farmers to own the sugar factories. It's the only way. The idea that you're going to have Indians and some Bazungus owning sugar factories and hope that you're going to get a result, it will never happen. Convert Muvia Sugar Company into a shareholder that is owned by farmers who give it sugarcane. Sony Sugar should be owned by the farmers that are going to give that sugar company sugarcane. Miwani should be owned by the farmers, quality be owned by the farmers, so that there's nobody in between them and their money, Mr. Speaker. Otherwise, we can split hairs, we can declare sugar board, we can have so many bodies running, the tribunal, all these bodies, the CS, but if we don't make the farmer the center of sugarcane production, it will never work. Sugar importation. Let farmer societies, let farmers cooperatives be the ones to import sugar, not individuals giving licenses about quota-free, duty-free. It is a cartel-ridden industry that if we don't allow farmers to be the ones importing this sugar, again we'll be losing money. Because ask yourself, how much money is made every year when we allow duty-free, quota-free import of sugar? And why do we do it? It has no returns in it, Mr. Speaker. Sugarcane production, for example, in Nyanza, like the Honorable Mutembei has said, was done in government land. But now we've had successive ministers giving out land whenever they like, who gives the highest bidder. And where we are now, Mr. Speaker, in Siaya, for example, we got a huge place in Yala Swamp. That Heda Muzungu that set up the Dominion Farms. So, Speaker, Dominion Farms alone can produce more than 1 million jobs in Nyanza. But what do we do? Us politicians are the ones who are the most corrupt and have caused corruption in the sugar industry. Let nobody lie to you that there's a cartel elsewhere. It is in this house, it's politicians who import sugar, use money for their campaigns. So let no one lie to you that there's somebody in ODA or in ODM. It's all politicians who are dirty and using dirty sugar money. It doesn't have sides. In fact, the sugar money has what political party sides or tribal sides. And let no one lie to you that if I was a voter from Western Kenya, I would not vote for an MP who lies every election that I'm going to sort out sugar and I don't do anything about it and take money from sugar factories. Because that's what they have done most of the time. So, Mr. Speaker, we must be honest if we want to help the sugar farmers and institute honest, serious measures to ensure that the farmer is at the center of sugar production, Mr. Speaker. Number two, Mr. Speaker, I don't understand why government thinks that they should have a role in importation of sugar. They don't have a role in importing furniture, in importing cars. They have no role apart from levying fees. Why should government be poking its hands and heads every time in importation of sugar? Mr. Speaker, in Europe today, sugar beet farmers are the most subsidized. In America, the same. Sugar will always be subsidized. But in this country today, you hear, and I don't fear saying this, when you give tea farmers 4 billion, you give coffee farmers 5 billion, and then you throw to Mumia Sugar half a billion shillings and say you've helped them, you've not done anything. The sugar farmers have gotten the shortest end of the stick for a long time. You cannot be subsidizing huge, you subsidize Mira that just grows naturally in the trees, and you can't give sugar farmers what is their due. So, Speaker, I sit in the Budget Committee, and we are going to demand going forward that enough money must be put to ensure that the sugar, because sugar industry, like I've said, Mr. Speaker, It's a political crop. It must not give us profits. It must not. But it must sustain the farmers. From the grassroots down there, it sustains laborers. At the factory level, it sustains technicians. At the human resource level, it sustains so many livelihoods, Mr. Speaker, and that's why all of us must have a stake in ensuring that sugarcane farming in Western Kenya thrives. You can have a population of around more than 20 million people with no sugar industry. It never works. So, as we pass this bill and request Honorable Wangwe that let us not stop at this, because the law, there has been so many laws on sugar. What will help us as people of Western Kenya is ensuring that enough money is put in the budget to deal with this. Number 3 is putting punitive measures on delaying payments of farmers. There are farmers who have died, committed suicide because they are not being paid. Weighing of sugarcane, transportation of sugarcane, issues that lie at the heart of sugarcane farming, Mr. Speaker. And so I want, as I finish, request that if we mean well, let's streamline research, technology, and ownership of sugarcane farms. Let's give this to farmers. And as politicians, let's lay our hands off the sugar industry. Let's look for money elsewhere. Is something like maize? Mr. Speaker, I beg to support and hope that at the right time we'll propose amendment. Thank you so much.
The Honorable Koyo.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the consideration. Mr. Speaker, on the onset, I want to take this opportunity to thank Honorable Mangwe and to laud him for his consistency. Why do I say consistency? Sugar has a lot of complications.